But no. You're saying I get the intro.
Yeah.
I finally, after all these times, I get the
you
intro.
Don't get the intro.
I'm going to intro.
Okay.
What's the intro?
Ready?
I've been ready. I was going to put that in. No.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Wheels on the Bus podcast. I'm Kara.
I'm Patrick.
And every week, the Wheels on the Bus, us, take a little journey to different places around education. And today we're going somewhere that many people have never gone before.
Well, many people inside education.
Well, yeah.
Everybody on the outside goes there.
Yeah. Today, the Wheels on the Bus go to the water cooler.
I.e. the break room,
For those youngins who don't know what a water cooler is.
The coffee maker,
It's where you're supposed to go and gab and gossip and get your frustrations out and just kind of
exchange information, exchange,
bit.
Hey, this is happening here and whatnot.
Yep.
Which, until you're in that environment of teaching, you don't realize how important it is because when you're in teaching, you don't get to do it.
You don't get to vent. You don't get to talk to other people, other adults.
That's why you guys drink so much after work.
It is. And it's why our poor spouses have to put up with us coming home and bitching all the time about our jobs.
All the time.
So.
It's all the time. But it's an interesting little side piece of the work environment that, you don't ever think about until it's gone.
Yep. And I'll tell you what made me think about this in just a minute. So welcome to the Wheels on the Bus. Go to the water cooler. All right, welcome back. Here we go. Let's talk.
And as usual, we'll start off with tales from the
car rider
line, which
here we go. Let me sit back for this one.
I have no complaints this week. And I guess my complaint about that is it has taken to the end of April of the school year for everybody to finally kind of get the groove of how to get through the stupid car rider lines in a halfway decent manner.
I think too, probably that it gets later in the school year. People are like picking their kids up early from school. Lots of doctor appointments. Like there's a lot less people in the car rider line.
This morning there was hardly anybody in the oncoming lane. Is like, what's going on today?
Yeah.
But it makes me so pissed off that we have to go 8 months of people not knowing what the hell they're doing
after a year.
And then it's like, oh wait, we have 3 weeks left. Great. We got it figured out now. And next year,
start all over.
Same shit again. The same thing. Yeah. So yes, my complaint is that it took this long to become no complaints.
Okay. So let me tell you why I thought of this topic for us. So we went to the doctor the other day. It was in the morning. Our appointment was like 8:45. Of course, the doctor's not there. So we're sitting basically right next to the reception desk and we hear the doctor come in because we know the doctor and they just start chatting. Hey, how was your weekend? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. What are you doing? Okay. How'd you, what was going on for like 5 minutes? We're sitting in the waiting room and I just thought this never happens in education. You don't have the time to come up to somebody on a Monday and go, how was your weekend? What'd you do? Did you relax? Did you do anything fun? Oh, how are the kids doing? What are they up to? But you don't have time. And these doctors and nurses were just, whatever, carefree.
Okay, out. Well, they're out in defense of that one thing. Teachers are geographically spaced out in a way that most people in other businesses are not. You are spread out down hallways or, it could be separate campuses. It could be all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So there is that problem. However, you don't get time. You either have to show up early, which nobody likes to do, especially somebody that likes to sleep in all the time.
Oh, there's some weirdos that like to show up early. That's for sure.
And then, or you have to stay late. But either way, if you get up early, you show up there, you're not hanging around the break room.
No. You're doing work.
You're in your classroom getting stuff prepped. And if you stay late, you're staying late grading papers and stuff. And once again, you're not hanging out talking because, 90% of the people are like, dude, I'm done, out. Whereas, in the business world,
5:00, bye.
well, yeah, but it doesn't matter. 5:00, yeah, you're by, but you get there at 7:00 and you hang around, you have some snacks, you have some drinks, you have, depending on what company you're with. My company, for people in office, they serve breakfast and lunch every day.
And they sit together.
And everybody is forced to come in and sit together and talk because it is a huge exchange of information. Not only do you end up trying to get to know people so you don't complain and gripe about other people nearly as much, but it's a chance to actually talk, have ideas, hey, what's going on with this? Or
wouldn't that be nice if teachers could have like a day a week just to sit around? Hey, what's working for you? Hey, show me how you do this. Model for me, this lesson that you do so well. How amazing would that be for our students?
Well, once again, it comes down to time.
Mm-hmm.
And, teachers, in a business world, you're focused on getting the job done. And it seems like in education, they're focused on how many minutes of educational time are we going each day.
Yep.
That's the reason why classes are, instead of just being 45 minutes or an hour long or whatever, it's like, no, this class is 42 minutes long. You have 3 minutes in between. Then you start, it's like, oh my God, they've got it down to the second.
Yeah. And it doesn't happen like that.
And it's dumb. It's because the rest of the world, you do have, even in manufacturing jobs, you work, you have a 15-minute break period.
Yeah.
And everybody stops and gets a coffee or gets a Coke, goes outside, smokes. I mean,
wait a minute. Teachers get a break. We get our, maybe if you're lucky, 60-minute planning period, maybe 3 or 4 days a week if you're lucky to actually plan. But that's when you're running to the copy room because there's only one copier working. And then the other day or two
strikes again.
The other day or two a week, you're doing whole group planning or you're having a meeting with the principal. So you're still not. So we get breaks. Yeah, but maybe you're on recess duty and you don't have lunch duty or vice versa. Yeah, we get breaks.
However, it doesn't do you any good if nobody else has the break at the same time.
It doesn't. And you're not allowed to be together, of course, because if you're at recess duty, what do you have to do? Separate so you can see everybody. If you are at lunch duty with another teacher, what do? You're walking around all the tables. You try to catch each other as you're passing, like strategically, like, hey.
Well, you're spending all your time opening milk cartons and, applesauce containers.
Yeah, for the little kids.
Yeah.
But so no, our breaks, we still don't get to have that camaraderie that most other places of business get to have.
When I was subbing to the high school, there was like 800 kids at a time in that high school. I don't recall seeing any teachers. I'm sure that they were hiding around the sides, but like, it was let them loose, let them go. Because, realistically, let's face it, they're 16, 17 years old. I'm pretty sure they know how to open up a milk.
And then you're gathering all your materials and getting ready for the next group of kids.
Or eating your lunch.
Yeah. Lucky if you have 20 minutes to eat your lunch. Maybe you get to sit with somebody and eat your lunch. Maybe you're work during your lunch like most of us do because we got to get stuff done because we want to go home at the end of the day.
Plus, let's be honest, and this is so sad to say, but your break period, your lunch period, also happens to be your bathroom period.
Oh, yeah, for the one bathroom, maybe two that's down your hallway for all the teachers to use at the same time. Yeah, that's super fun.
Yeah, so I will admit that definitely puts a crimp in any chance to say hi to people. What are you going to do is you walk by, say thanks for warming up the seat. It's not it's not quite the same.
I got really good in my last kindergarten gig. We had bathrooms in the classroom, so when the kids left, I just squatted and did my best on those little toilets.
No.
I wasn't going to wait for the hallway one. Just go and get it over with.
Bathrooms. No, thank you.
I've seen those bathrooms too.
But it just, when you're in, let's call it the real world.
Okay. Yeah.
When you're in the real world, there is a lot of positive information to be gained from just sitting down in somebody else's office and bullshitting for a while. It really does. It does build some teamwork. It gets your frustrations out by having a sympathetic ear that can sit there and listen to it and go, oh, yeah.
Even if you get like an email from a coworker or another company or something, and you're like, hey, Jim, come here, come read this. Can you believe this? How am I supposed to respond to this? Like, we get emails from parents all the time. We don't have anybody to come in and back us up over what we just typed up and sent to that parent. We don't have anybody to bitch about, or to bitch with, sorry. All this crap that we get from admin, from parents. You're just, you take it all upon yourself and you go home with that. And then who do you vent to? Your loved ones.
Vent to or vent at.
Yes.
See, that's where the problem comes in. It's one thing to sit there and listen to it as I'm complaining, but over time, what that can turn into is you're angry at work and you come home and the dishes aren't done the way you wanted, or dinner's not ready, or you've got to make dinner, or whatever it is. And now you're pissed off about that.
Yep.
And so your entire world becomes one of just anger and frustration. And, I've always used to joke that I had a chart based on teachers' attitudes and behaviors throughout the year and the way it went. And, and it starts off fairly good. And then that attitude goes just screaming towards the floor. And it kind of comes back up real quick at Halloween, back down. And then it comes up for Thanksgiving and Christmas because they're like, oh, it's almost here. And then January, it is just
it's
in the crapper because they know there's no holiday coming up until, I guess, Good Friday.
Break.
Yeah, Good Friday, spring break. I mean, and so they know they've got 2 months straight of just misery and they're just bottoming out. And then you've got to deal with testing and all that stuff. And it's not until right about now where testing is almost done and we're finished and the attitude skyrockets back up because they know summer's about here.
Yeah. But we have nobody to go and share that attitude with.
Except the bartenders and,
Yeah. So I remember several times during my career, during our planning period, I would try and go and just talk to somebody. Maybe something happened and I wanted to go and vent to somebody. So, you do have those opportunities. But when you go into somebody else's room, they're busy doing stuff too. So you're there talking and they're listening to you because I've done this too, but they're working and they're pulling and they're measuring and they're putting stuff out and they're doing this and they're on their computer.
They're in mode.
Yeah. It's not the same as, Jim, get in here. Can you believe this? Sit down face to face, looking at each other, having that connection. Like, teachers just don't get that. And it's so frustrating and sad.
Well, yeah. And especially, depending on the school you're at, schools have 2 to 3 to some of them will have even 4 different lunch periods, which means all the teachers have, 4 different lunch periods, but they're in different areas, and you never get a chance for everybody to come together at once and just sit down and relax and veg.
Would it be for all of the teachers to have the exact same lunch? You can
choose for the cafeteria, but
well, admin can go and do lunch duty.
Well, they could. They should at least once in a while.
In this past school that I was at, admin did lunch duty, and let me tell you what, it was fabulous. Those teachers did get a break to go and eat together if they wanted to or not, but they were all off at the exact same time. And admin did lunch duty. Can you believe it? Now, they always had to do recess duty, but they were, they took turns and stuff.
Yeah,
but that was only at this last school that I worked at. 22 years. Well, and only the last 2.5 admin took charge of cafeteria duty.
Plus, let's be honest, especially in the younger grades. So if you have lunch was what, 35 minutes? Was the
for kids, 30.
Okay, so you have 30 minutes for kindergartners through, say, 5th grade. That's 30 minutes that you have to get them lined up out the door, down to the cafeteria. And we're going to call this after the first part of the year when you don't have to sit there with them. Because the first 3 weeks, you got to eat with them.
Gosh.
So you got 30 minutes to get them lined up out the door to the cafeteria, then come back to your room, which, you don't think about, but when there's only 30 minutes, that's 1 minute off. That's what, 3% of your time is just walking back.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm going to say it. There's a bathroom break involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's far and few between.
Yeah. So now you've taken up 5 minutes of your 30-minute break.
Yeah.
And then so now I got to go and eat my food. Now the question is, do I eat cold food or do I want to sit for the microwave? And so suddenly now I'm down to 15 minutes flat.
Depends on how many microwaves you have in your
and if they're working, yes. But you've got, realistically, an elementary school teacher has about 15 minutes, because even when you're like, no, I got 5 more minutes. It's like, no, you got to throw away your stuff, and then you got to go back down and pick up your kids
on time,
because they're not going to be waiting for you, lined up nice and pretty. You got to get there and go. So you're speed rushing through lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And if
there's not time to talk.
Yeah. And if you're speed rushing, you're not talking.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there.
You're not having those good quality conversations. Yeah. You're talking, obviously, but it's not deep. It's not helpful. You're complaining about admin.
Yeah. Well, and the other problem is if you've got 10 kindergarten teachers, I don't know how many did you have at one school.
Oh, in our hallway, we had 12.
Okay. So 12 teachers, but
in one hallway, there were 3.
Yeah. Well, that was a school that was built for kindergarten.
Yeah.
But I was talking.
But they don't know that.
Well, I was talking other schools.
Okay. Like 4 or 5, maybe.
Okay.
6,
well,
7, 8. It could be anything.
You had 8, I think, at College Hill. So, so you can meet up before work, but only 2 of you are going to be early.
Obviously, I don't like morning people or mornings or people. Not going to talk in the morning. Y'all know that.
And then you had others that were like, oh, I always stay late and work. It's like, man, the second the bell rings, I get those kids on the bus, I'm gone. Mm-hmm. Because you didn't want to spend a second longer than you have to.
Nope.
And then there's the other ones that, during work periods, they tend to blather on and on and on. And
but that's why they're there.
Let's get their stuff knocked
at the end
out.
Of school and on weekends. Yes. How many weekends have you spent up at school? Sadly, how many weekends have you work from home, but like when you were in the office, how many weekends did you go into the office and catch up on work and do stuff?
Me?
Yeah.
Maybe once every 5 years.
Yeah. Teachers work on weekends all the time.
My boss, he goes in there a lot because the weekends are quiet.
Yeah.
He's like,
and
nobody's
some people
here.
Like that. That's fine. Like if you don't
get a lot of crap
if you don't want to go to the water cooler and talk, then don't. That's totally fine. But it is helpful to just
it's tremendously helpful because not only are you venting and not only are you, commiserating with each other, it also is a huge amount of information where you're, it's like, hey, I heard you were looking for a PE job, and guess what? I found out that school district or that other school's got 2 openings. You should call so-and-so. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Information, networking. Mm-hmm. It actually can happen, but it doesn't if you're stuck in your classroom.
Yeah. Or, one of these planning periods that you have a week, you're usually meeting with admin. And so they're telling you the expectations and what they want to see. You're going over data and how's the data and may the data ever be in your favor. And so even then...
Is the data ever in your favor?
No. Okay. Even then, you're not talking and sharing ideas because those meetings take 64, 65 minutes. Like they keep you in there. Your poor kids are standing in the hallway with the special
Sorry
teachers.
for running over.
Yeah, they always run over because it's always admin leading these meetings and not letting us work together and talk through things. So even then, we're still not talking. We're sitting there drilling and grilling.
Which makes sense to do if you're dealing with a bunch of rookie teachers. But if you've got teachers that have been there for 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, do they really need to hear from admin on a weekly basis about this, that, or the other?
No.
I mean, I know the vast majority of meetings that I went to, if they had more than 3 people, you're wasting your time. Put it in a memo.
Mm-hmm. Should have been an email.
Because somebody's always asking questions that were answered at the previous meeting or, before they got there because they were late or they just weren't paying attention. Yeah. Or, and I know that the phrase is always out there. That's just remember, there's no stupid questions.
Yeah, there are.
There's lots of stupid questions.
Oh, there totally are.
There's tremendously amounts of stupid questions where you just look at people and you go, how did that person get a degree? Why the hell did
So
they
you don't
get
want to be there.
hired?
Faculty meetings,
No.
same thing. You're sitting there not talking to each other. You're sitting there getting all this information pushed down on you. So you're trying to text each other, or you're trying to like slip each other notes. Are we going to go to lunch?
Yeah.
It's awful. PD days, same thing. You sit and get, and then it's like, okay, you have an hour to work in your classroom. And then we're going to meet back in here for more information.
When honestly, what they should do is like, we're going to take an hour, just chill. We brought in sandwiches and drinks. Everybody relax. Have a glass of wine or a beer.
That would be fabulous.
Well, if it was a professional development day, let's be honest.
Nope, can't do it.
Why not? You do it after work.
Because
Everybody
it's the
runs to the
rules
bar.
of school. It's a drug-free zone. Alcohol's drugs. I don't know.
I mean, okay, what percentage of teachers do you know that always talks about after work they're going to go get a drink or have a beer?
All of us, everybody.
Okay, so 90+%.
Yes, absolutely.
Because they're de-stressing.
Yeah.
Well, why not try to de-stress when you're in the deal? Hey, listen, would you bitch about professional development nearly as much if you actually knew that, hey, come 11 o'clock, they're going to have food.
Margarita machine.
And, oh my God,
that we always
machine.
ask for. Yeah. Everybody asks for margarita machine.
Wouldn't that be, it'd be a school district you'd be happy with. And you could have virgin ones. You could have that. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
Just, and you're only letting them have it at lunch. So nobody's going to drive home.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, we're going to chill. I want everybody to relax, get to know somebody,
But not in stupid games that take 10 minutes of go find somebody that you don't work with
God.
and share your top 3 things that you like. No. So here's something else that I just thought of. When we do want to talk during the day with another adult, okay, sometimes you have an opening between classrooms. We called it the class hole. So you and your partner teacher had a class hole. So you go up to your class hole and you're like, hey, come here. I got to show you something. Or I got to talk about this
I
kid.
have a lot of teachers that said I was the class hole, but I guess that meant something else.
So maybe you had that. So you could just talk to your partner teacher. Hopefully you love your partner teacher like I did. And I still do, even though we don't work together anymore. But you had that. But while you're sitting there talking and, you're watching your kids, you're praying that the principal or the AP doesn't come into your room. Like you're constantly on guard because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing because you're talking to your partner. Sometimes we would step out into the hallway and try to get the teacher's attention across the hallway. You got those little bitty door windows.
Little tiny windows.
So you'd step out and you'd be like, hey. And then a kid would look at you like, get your teacher. And so both of y'all would open your doors and you'd have like, oh my gosh, I need to tell you this or whatever. But still, you're constantly looking down the hallway, making sure that admin is not going to walk down and write you up for not being in your classroom, constantly teaching 1,000 minutes of the day.
Well, once again, I think that's a problem on the elementary school side because there's nobody to watch those little heathens as they run around like crazy.
You're not stepping out of your classroom.
Well, no,
you're in the door.
If you're going across the hallway, you are.
No. I'm saying you're getting the other teacher's attention. So you're both standing in your door, 1 foot out, 1 foot in.
Start getting some pebbles and throwing rocks at the window or
something.
Well,
it's what we do. But, if you're in a normal business or a doctor's office
you walk into their office
HEB or whatever, you're not afraid that your boss is going to come and get you in trouble because you're talking to somebody else. Oh, I've seen the baggers and the checkers at HEB talk to each other. How dare they? What if their boss saw them doing that? No, because they're still doing their job. We can talk to each other across the hall, still do our job, and not be in fear.
Especially, let's face it, with the little kids when they're at centers.
Yeah.
Which is, for those of you who don't know, centers is kind of like, y'all go and play in these specific educational toy environments.
Totally educational.
And while you do that, I'm going to go back and plan what bar I'm going to, or,
Yeah, but you're still like, is she coming?
Yeah.
Is he coming?
Wait, And that should be, I mean, it makes you wonder, can they do something like that as like an indoor area? Because I know in your old school had kind of a big
Mhm.
common area outside all the classrooms. It's like, could you just do that there where all the kids are outside doing that stuff and the teachers can sit there and hang out?
Or
Because
maybe have admin that understands that, there are times that we need to talk to each other because sometimes we are trying to share ideas or this kid, I'm about to throw him out the window. I need you to take him for 10 minutes. It would be nice if admin was walking down the hall and saw teachers talking and like, hey, can I step into your room for a minute? And you can have your conversation. Let me see what's going on in here.
yeah.
Let the principal deal with the kids. Like, it shouldn't be a fearful thing to want to talk to another teacher during the school day.
Well, there's that, but there is one other thing too to consider. When you spend 8 hours a day talking to 5-year-olds or 6-year-olds and no other adults,
You go, little cuckoo.
you go little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Um, and you crave adult interaction. You absolutely crave it. When I work from home, and before Kara quit, I spent 8 hours a day. The only time I talked with people was on the phone and ask them why they screwed this up or trying to fix this. You crave adult interaction, just something that you can, I saw a meme, I heard a joke, I laugh about whatever. You need that, and when you're dealing with kids at school all day long,
Yeah.
it drives you nuts.
And you've given your instructions and the kids are doing their work. That should be your time to be able to relax and talk to somebody else if you need it. You don't have to be, it's not the STAR test. You don't have to be constantly walking, monitoring your students every single minute of every single day. If you've taught them well and you have great classroom management skills and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, you should have that little bit of time to go, hey, partner teacher, come here. I really need to, this has been bothering me, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. Thanks for, and you go take care of your classroom.
Well, yeah, but it should be even more than that. It shouldn't just have to be that you got one guy or one girl. I think another big problem, and it goes back to one of my biggest complaints of modern school, is by getting rid of the lockers in schools. You used to have, you had 6 minutes, 7 minutes in between classes, right? You get out of class,
Well,
you go to
back
your
when you
locker.
didn't have to be in school for 17,532 minutes a
But no,
day or a year,
you
whatever.
got
it
out of
is.
class and you had 7 or 8 minutes between each buzzer
Mhm.
to go, and and you got to your locker and you had to have all that time. Well, in between that time, 4 or 5 minutes so that teachers could just kind of get together in between
Breathe.
and breathe and get a coffee and if
Yeah.
it was Mr. Benton, fill it with a particular adult beverage too, I think. Yeah.
Maybe that's, thanks, Mr. Benton. You ruined it for everybody.
He was pretty mellow. He would come back with his coffee.
Oh, I bet he was very mellow.
But we knew there was something in that coffee cup. But, hey,
But
it
yeah,
was
that
fun.
transition time, a time to breathe, a time to say, oh, hey,
Yeah.
good to see you.
But now the kids, instead, you got to carry 84-pound bags filled with everything you own.
Well, and
Gym shoes and
also,
uniforms and the whole works.
by lunchtime, you finally see another teacher from your hallway and you're like, hey, I didn't know you were here today. Because you haven't seen each other all day long.
Which is sad. It's so sad. But
So what can we do about it? Here's
add time to the day and put gaps in.
No, don't add time to the day. Good Lord, it's long enough. We need to shorten our day, but still add gaps in. School's long. But here's something my previous district did. We were on 6-week grading periods. After every 6 weeks, the next day was a holiday for students. It's called Data Day, of course. So teachers spent most of the day doing report cards, gathering information, going to meetings. But it was a day without kids. And it wasn't necessarily a professional development day. Like you met for a little bit, but every every grade level had to meet. So, you had 45 minutes, whatever it was. And then you're off and you're in your classroom. You have a day to get some stuff done and work on turning some stuff in. It was like a recoup day, basically. That was
But it's
really, really cool to have.
yes, but it still doesn't let you
No, but it's
mingle and
it's a step.
interact with the other teachers the
But
way
you had
need
lunch,
to.
but you could all go to lunch together if you wanted to.
Yeah, but if you spent the entire year conditioned not to interact, which that's really what you're doing, you're conditioned. You get there, you walk to your classroom, you stay in your classroom, you complain to the computer screen.
Yeah.
Kids come in, you do your stuff, and then at the end of the day, you go home, you complain to your husband or wife, and it's like, you've
Yeah.
become a conditioned employee to where that's your life. And
But it's still better than not having it.
well, yeah, but
For
I mean,
sure.
it's what you need is actual interaction throughout the day that's
Mhm.
not crush time. And it honestly, it may be the simple thing is extend the lunch period. Right? If you just had an
or not
extended
have
lunch period,
teachers do lunch duty.
yeah, but still, even 30 minutes is pretty tight.
Yeah.
But this last school was 45 minutes, right?
No, the students had 30.
Oh, okay. Well, if you extend it to 45,
Oh, that's way.
well, no, but it gives everybody a chance to interact and mingle and whatnot.
Yeah, but then the kids go crazy.
Send them into a courtyard.
Half of them are done eating.
That's
in 10
fine.
minutes.
Send them into a courtyard. Give them that freedom. Give them
then
the freedom to say,
And then who's going to watch them?
admin.
How many admin do you think are on a campus?
I don't know, but there seems to be a lot based on budget. So, but no, you go to a center courtyard, kind of deal. I remember in Duncanville, that's what we had. You had all the classrooms, you had the lunchroom, they had a center courtyard, benches and Foursquare and stuff like that. When you were done, wherever you were done, that's where you ended up.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But
I also think during, like, if you're at a school where your admin makes you meet once or twice a week for data meetings or PLC, they should have like a 10-minute time limit. Okay, here's what we want to focus on. Here's what we want to see you implement. You guys talk about it and figure it out. Bye. They should let teachers be teachers. Don't take up our whole time with shit that's never going to get done.
Yeah, but that's a separate deal of.
But it still could allow us to actually talk.
Well, I know.
And then when they leave, bye, we can all go, that sucks. Why are they making us do that? You have time to vent after they leave. They should not be in those meetings the entire time.
Well, to me, that's just.
Well, it's
kind of defeating. It's stupid, but it's. I don't know that you're ever going to get supervisors to give up that power.
You're never going to get supervisors to do lunch duty either. So I'm just saying, what could be some solutions? What do you think could be some solutions? Post them in the comments. Let us know. Maybe we can start a movement.
Yeah, but you quit. So
I did because it got so frustrating. It was just building and building and building, and this is one of the things that.
So just remember when you pick your kids up, you drop your kids off, you talk to your kid's teacher, and they seem pissed off. Just realize
they are.
And
buy us gift cards. Buy them gift cards. Get them a $5 Sonic card.
A $5 Sonic card.
Oh my gosh.
Is because if you get there before 4:00, it's happy hour, and I think teachers get discounts anyway.
If your school lets out before 4:00,
okay, but do teachers get discounts with their ID card?
Some
places do, some don't. Maybe, but you know what? Just
a
little gift saying, "Hey, I know your day sucks. Here, have a Slurpee on me." It counts.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
it's been nice talking to you.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing how that works.
Let us know how we're doing. If you want us to talk about something, what do you want us to talk about? Put it in the comments. We'll read them. And thank y'all for watching. Subscribe, like, tell your friends. Let's make some people laugh. We love y'all.
Or they'll either laugh or they get really pissed off at their
quit.
school.
So, see y'all. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.